application. We'll send it to you. We'll ask for information on your solar array, what size it is, commercial, residential, different things like that. But we're more than happy to help any developer walk them through the process and make sure that they know the ins and the outs. We'll locate the land that they're looking at. We'll do mapping to the nearest substation or power lines where the interconnection would be, and help them all the way. We're more than happy to have solar within the area. A lot of people think Commonwealth Edison is a supply company. We're a delivery company. We're the poles and the wires that deliver the power to your home, to your residence, to your farms, to commercial buildings, everything within the county. And I believe, I saw on the internet there were 433 applications within the county of people looking to start solar, and we should be the first stop that they have. They should always come to us first with their plan. We can make sure that there's no wires in the area to connect, to make sure they have the best possible location, and then help them along the way. So with that, I've left you a couple sheets, and if you go to comment.com, you type in interconnection, it'll give you a whole array of different questions, different solutions, and different answers. Are there any questions from the county board members? Okay, I'll leave it at that. Chairman Helms, thank you for letting me present tonight, and thank you for cheering for the Packers last Sunday.
Thanks, George.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. We'll move on to the chairman's report. Just a few items. First, again, the strategic planning sessions are scheduled for February 9th and 10th. Friday, February 9th, will start at 5 p.m. Saturday, February 10th, will start at 8:30 a.m. Eric Dregling, who will be presenting this, did send out meeting invitations to everyone, so if you have not done so to respond, please do if you would. It's imperative that we get as much participation as possible. Of course, the public will be invited, but there will be no public comment at the time of the planning session. So if the public does have anything that they would like to present, please get with your county board member and let them know. I want to echo the Peters and what they said earlier. I did receive just a short email I want to read from Bob Peters. He wants to thank us for the support. It's very much appreciated. His dad's killers can never be made productive members of the community, and that's where we all need all the help that they can get. So again, thank you to the county board for their continued support, and I fully support that. Next, the crime suppression unit that we did pass. They are out, and they are in force, and they are working. Again, that is strictly for stopping, or at least eliminating or slowing down the trafficking of individuals in and out of Freeport, illegal guns and drugs that flow freely in and out of Freeport. So I look forward to more progress with that and reports coming from the sheriff. And finally, some good news, some bright news. Our county clerk, Ms. Wingert, was at a conference earlier this week. Stephenson County was given 2 awards. One, which I'll let her talk about, was a veterans registered with the Honors Reward Program through her office. And the other is Jasmine won New Clerk of the Year for the state of Illinois, I believe. Wow. So that is good. And Jasmine, if you would just briefly discuss the Honors Reward Program.
Yeah, I was super proud of Stephenson County for winning the Honors Rewards. Most veterans signed up. We were up against, for the other nominees were Will County, DuPage County, and McHenry County. So if you put us into that, we're obviously the smallest county. But if you know a veteran that is interested in signing up for the Honors Rewards program, or a business that would like to offer an incentive, they can go to the Clerk and Recorder website, and they will see Honors Rewards. They can click on it, and the application is there. They can come into our office, and we are happy to assist them. Or if they call our office, we can send them an application. There is currently over 20 businesses signed up that offer an incentive to the veterans, and we have over 150 veterans signed up, and we just launched this program in the second half of 2023.
That's great. All right, well, thank you. Very proud of you. Good job. Any
Good job.
questions? Okay, we will move on then to appointments. We have approved.
I have a question, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, I apologize, Mr.
That's
Hart.
okay.
Go ahead.
This is for you relative to your report. I'm curious, we haven't had an update from Helios or anything regarding the sale of the nursing center for a number of months now. Can you give us an update on that, please?
I've been in contact with Helios. I believe the last time was at the end of December. They are still waiting for Stern to come forward with dates for a town hall meeting. So I don't have any other information other than that.
The reason I'm asking is we're going into 2024 now.
We're actually in 2024.
I understand. We're in 2024. And this has been going on since 2022. I've taken a look at the documents and I've had them reviewed by outside counsel, and it would appear that the LOI, which was never binding and was written not to be binding, and generally LOIs are not binding in Illinois, has expired. Our contract with Helios has expired. Stein Rehab is not a party to any of our documents whatsoever, and in fact the paperwork indicates that they would not be the operator because we would need to create a new entity. That's according to Upward Care. Do we even still have a deposit in escrow from Upward Care?
I would have to ask the administrator on that. I'm not certain.
Well, it would appear to me, and what I'm hearing from council is that we don't have a pending sale, that Walnut Acres is not up for sale, and all of that paperwork has expired. I don't understand why we would be waiting for the rehab company to come in and have a town hall when we haven't decided to have a referendum. The only reason to have a referendum would be, the only reason to have a town hall would be if we were having a public referendum. That was something brought up by Mr. Bush in the nursing home committee this past week to have a referendum. I hope that we do have a binding referendum, and I'd love to see that on the agenda for next month's nursing center committee.
Is that all, Mr. Hart?
I'd love to hear a response as to, is there anyone that disagrees with the fact that all the paperwork is expired, that the letter of intent is not binding, and that we do not have our nursing home up for sale?
Well, I guess the only thing I will say is I don't know of any county board member other than yourself that's been talking about the sale of the nursing home for the last few months. I've not given a report from Helios because there's nothing to report. So I'm not sure what it is. You're talking about the sale of the nursing home. I'm not talking about the sale of the nursing home. I don't know of any other county board members that are publicly speaking about the sale of the nursing home.
I'm clarifying that the nursing home is no longer up for sale. I fail to see what you don't understand.
All right, Mr. Whalen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was just, point of order, you didn't even mention the nursing home in your report, so I don't understand why we're discussing it. So, that's all.
All right. Okay, we will move on to appointments. The approval of the appointment of Todd Weber to the Rock City Fire District. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
By Mr. Brandt, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Jogurst, is there any discussion? All those in favor of the appointment, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We'll move on to action items and information from standing committees. Start with Mr. Whalen on finance. You have two items.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have the approval of the intergovernmental agreements with the City of Freeport and the German Valley. Will address the approval of the intergovernmental agreement with the City of Freeport. This pertains to the ARPA funds that we discussed last month. I would refer to you, Mr. Chairman, who worked on this document. So would you please give the county board a synopsis of what we're voting on.
Absolutely, thank you. While this was not required, I do feel it's a best practice. I did ask the city of Freeport to put together a intergovernmental agreement that the board could consider so that we were ensuring, in my opinion, the proper way to fund road projects. Initially, the city had come forward with a $3 million request to this board, and they had a list of streets in all city districts. That was whittled down to $500,000 by this board. I met with the city along with the administrator. We had asked what streets were the most needed, and for the dollar amount that was available, in addition to the fact that there was limited numbers of streets without needing water and sewer improvements. Locust Street was identified by the city as the most bang for the buck. They could do a complete grind down and repavement without having to do anything with water and sewer. So that was their recommendation to the board. The only other items where they wanted reimbursement within 30 days, we changed that to 45 days to match up with our claims. Their total project for 2024, I believe their street program was $3 million, and this will be an additional $500,000 above. So Locust Street was not in their 2024 plan for repavement. Glad to answer any questions, otherwise I would entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
By Mr. Hadley, is there a second?
Second.
By Mr. Whalen. Any discussion?
In our intergovernmental agreement.
Could you get your microphone, Mr. Mooney?
Yeah.
Thank you.
In our intergovernmental agreement, does it mention the street that's going to be done?
Yes, Locust Street. And I believe the city manager said it would be from South Street to Lincoln.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? All right, seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Your next item?
In a similar nature, the approval of the intergovernmental agreement with German Valley.
I defer to you on your comments, Mr. Chairman.
Absolutely, and this was very similar. Sean Gallagher from the Village of German Valley is here as well. This was a project that they were moving forward with, and I can get more, have Sean come up to speak to more specifics, but I believe he did so last month. It's structured in much the same way as the city of Freeport, that this would be a reimbursement program where the village would be the lead agency. They would maintain and operate the entire project and then ask the county for reimbursement. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
By Mr. Whalen, is there a second?
Second.
By Mr. Bush. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
One opposition. Motion passes. Thank you. Any other information out of your committee, Mr. Whalen?
No, Mr. Chairman, not this time.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to administration. Mr. Jogers, you don't have any action items, any information?
Just one item. The county, we approved the RFP to go out from the county clerk for a proposal for record imaging and digitalization services. And we're thinking that most of that, or all of that's going to be covered by a grant. So that was the only action item going forward. I think that's all for now.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Move on to court services.
Did we skip public property?
We did. Thank you, Mr. Modero. I appreciate that. All right, sorry about that, Mr. Copeland. 1 second here. All right, public property and safety, Mr. Copeland, you have one action item.
Yes, the action item is for approval of a quote on UTV. This was from EMA, Director Townsend. He gave the committee 3 quotes, one from Full Throttle Power Sports, another one from Eastland Motorsports, and the last one from FHK Sales. It was determined from the price and the quality of the UTVs that the Full Throttle Power Sports with the Polaris North Star Crew Premium was the best quality and the best price at $31,405.91. And I make a motion to approve the quote.
All right, there is a motion to approve. Mr. Brandt, second. Same discussion.
Yes.
Go ahead, Mr. Hadley.
Yes. I got a couple questions before I ask. I know, and I supported this as a supplement for $35,000. Is this the funds are going to come from where? ARPA money?
I believe this was ARPA money, yes.
Okay, because I want to speak about that also, the ARPA money. Why this vehicle's over our county code? Why did we go out and get quotes and not RFPs?
Mr. Townsend, would you like to come up?
As I believe we're violating our county code by not going out for an RFP.
Would you like to answer Mr. Hadley's question regarding why we did not go out for RFP?
Yeah, good evening, everybody. I'm Scott Townsend, I'm the Emergency Management Director. The reason we went out for quotes is that's how I was instructed to proceed. I didn't realize I was supposed to go out for request for proposals, just go and get a quote, because it was already approved by the county as a supplemental request.
I just want to say, I'm all for you having this vehicle. Because during the time I was county board chairman, we were able to get the EMA office a pickup truck, where we never had one before. But there's ARPA money being used for this, and I like to refer to my good friend Congressman Chip Roy down in Texas. He made a statement, that ARPA money should be used very conservative and get the best bang for the buck. And I think we need to go out for an RFP, or can I ask you this question? Did you look at state bids?
No, I did not. I'm not sure that there are state bids available for UTVs.
Well,
what I did do, this is coming back, I'm sorry, let me interrupt you.
yeah, well, that's okay.
Can I state that, a UTV is a very unique vehicle, and my intention was to stay local in the county area or in the region at the very least. It's not like buying a car where you can go out and price, like Chevy at 4 different dealerships in the area. Each dealership has specific make and model. So in our county, basically we had a choice between Can-Am, we had a choice between the Polaris and Freeport Honda Kawasaki, which is basically the Honda and Kawasaki models. I thought we did the due diligence of going out, request for proposal, request for quote. It's going to be one and the same. These vehicles are not a lot of bartering or leeway. They're very popular. Every one of the dealers, I'm proud to say, in our area gave us a discount because of government, and of course there's no sales tax. So I think the price that we have is very good, and I know the sheriff and myself, we like to get this vehicle as soon as possible because there is a lot of times where it could be utilized, especially in inclement weather, search and rescue, possibly recovery, and I think it's important that we protect our assets, which is the employees of the county, with this vehicle. Right now, the vehicles that they're replacing are over 20 years old, and they are not enclosed. They don't even have seat belts, and quite frankly, they're unsafe to be driven off the road.
Well, I want to add something. This past summer, me and Mr. Hart attended local elected officials that was put on by the state treasurer, and we happened to be in Springfield, and we toured the state police tent, and they had one of those UTVs all equipped with everything on it. The conservation police had the same thing. I believe under the act that we got this money through, that we have to go out for RFPs, and at this time, I cannot support doing this tonight, but I'm all for this if we do the proper way of doing an RFP or looking at state bids. I believe I talked to our county engineer today to ask him about the state bid website, and I did call a gentleman today. I was having a hard time accessing it. A real nice gentleman down there helped me get on. Well, he got on the computer, and I believe they do have some, at State Bend down there at this time. But I'm not against this, I'm all for this, because I was all for getting the truck for you guys. So, but I wanna make sure we're doing it legal, and, you know, the CARES Act, I believe that we have to go out for RFPs and not quotes, and we might even violate our county code too, you know.
Mr. Hadley, would you like to have this tabled?
Well, I would like the committee to go out, actually go out for an RFP, or, you know, so we can find out everything, you know.
There's a
So,
motion and a second on the floor to approve, so if you'd like to table it, we can send this back.
but I don't like the word table, I like to move it back to committee to further make sure,
That's your motion?
Yes.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second that
And
motion.
Mr. Hart, any discussion on sending back to committee? Ms. Anthony?
Thank you. So Chairman Hanley brings up a good point, because in other committees requesting vehicles, they were required to go out for RFP. And I apologize, I didn't think about that when it was brought up about property and safety. So I'm not sure why different information is given to different departments, but thank you, Chairman Hanley, for bringing that up, because we should be fair across all departments.
Any other discussion? All in favor of sending it back to committee, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
Three noes? Okay, motion passes to send back to committee. Thank you, Mr. Townsend. Mr. Copleen, anything else out of your committee?
Yes, there's an elevator, it's gonna be repaired at the courthouse, and the roofing at the courthouse, we're waiting, RFP for that.
All right, very good, thank you. Now we'll move on to court services. And Mr. Bush, no action items. Any information out of your committee, sir? All right, thank you very much. Move on to nursing center. Mrs. Baker, no action items. Any information?
Yep, this was Adrian's first committee as an interim administrator. She's been working on updating the departmental binders with the most recent regulations and information. Adrian, Ms. Newcomer, and myself sit in on the weekly operations call for TCM. IDPH arrived on Tuesday morning for the annual survey, and they're wrapping things up today. So hopefully we'll have a summary soon. Census is up to 41, and that is all the information that I have.
Very good. Thank you. Mr. Hart, Mr. Frick is obviously not here for planning and development. No action items. Any information out of your committee?
We had two presentations in our committee. One was telephonic with George, who spoke tonight from ComEd, basically assuring us that all of the energy that's being produced in the solar fields is being transmitted to the grid. Apparently there was some confusion about that, so it's good to know that that's being utilized. Andrea Winter from the Greater Freeport Partnership was in, and she had also mentioned that they had sent some information over to ComEd, because apparently ComEd has a program where they identify people that may be available, companies that may be available for some of the vacant properties and sites that we have. Also, I believe we'll all be receiving an invitation from Honeywell to go on a tour, see the plant, and meet with them on Tuesday, February the 6th from 10:30 to 1. So that should be coming out to all of the board members to have an opportunity to go see what's going on there. Apparently they have some new lines they're looking at, and we'll be looking for some new employees hopefully in the county. And that's it. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Move on to Public Works. Mr. Brandt, you have an action item.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So before us is code changes to 205-4, 4.1, and to 205.3. One of the things I'd like to talk about quick is the net changes of those fees, so that everybody understands what we're actually, the increases that we're talking about. On the dog registration, the 1-year tag is going from 27 to 30. I'm sorry, from 24 to 27. The 3-year tag is going from 70 to 80. The 1-year altered dog is going from 11 to 14, and the 3-year from 30 to 39. These fees were being proposed because of a fee study that we conducted. We looked at the other counties that neighbor us, and we were the bottom of all of them. So I do feel as though the changes are necessary, although I must tell you that in the spirit of transparency and against the opposition that I've heard here this evening, I'm not opposed to tabling this for 1 month and having everyone take a look at it again next month. So I make a motion to table this for 1 month.
Okay, there's a motion to table for 1 month, second by Mr. Newton. Any discussion?
Just one thing.
Let me get your microphone on. Go ahead, Mr. Hadley.
If you can bring it back, say approving the code amendments, chapter 205, and then the numbers and everything, it'll be more explanatory to the citizens of Stephenson County. So thank you very much.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of tabling until next month, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
1 no. Thank you very much. Motion passes to table. Anything else out of your committee, Mr.
No,
Brown?
not at this time.
All right, thank you. Committee's done. We'll move on to public comment. Is there anyone that would wish to come up to the microphone and speak for 3 minutes? Go ahead, Mr. Louie.
How's everyone? Nate Louie, IT Director. If you guys see me running around here, it's usually not a good sign. So I just wanted to report to the public in public comment that we did have some technical difficulties tonight. First one was the microphones here in the boardroom, and then our wireless for the cameras decided to go sideways. So it is pretty clear from executive session on, but the first part of the meeting, the internet was struggling, so the video would not buffer, and we're up and running now. I switched everything over to the backup network, and we got it from executive session on, but I just wanted people to know when they see that on YouTube or when they go out to access it. No funny business, just technical difficulties tonight that we ended up getting resolved. So just wanted to put that out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Louie. Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to new business. The item is approval of a letter in opposition to any consideration of the petition for executive clemency that has been filed by William Keene. I believe the administrator emailed out to all board members the document. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
By Mr. Hadley, second by Mr. Jogers. Any discussion?
Just want to say that.
Let me get your microphone on, Mr. Hadley.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just want to say we did pass this same type of thing once when I was county board chairman. I urge every board member to support this because my 30 years in the Illinois Department of Corrections, generally people really don't change.
Thank you. Mr. Copeland.
Yes, everybody knows that I'm a retired Freeport police officer. I was on the job in 1991 at November 12th, and I was at the scene. There's no way, I don't know why Governor Ryan commuted to a life sentence, in my opinion, and there is no way this man should get out of prison.
Anyone else? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Mr. Bush, second by Ms. Deininger.
Yes.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, everyone.